A warm welcome to Mark Harper and Godrich Shingange. Mark, a fuel retail operator himself, as well as the co-owner of a company called PetroCONNECT, as well as Godrich, who has been in the fuel retail industry for over 17 years and was recently appointed as the fuel operator for BP Evaton. Welcome, gents.
Thank you.
Godrich, 17 years. Tell us your story from being a petrol attendant to pouring petrol and assisting in a convenience store, to becoming a manager on site, to becoming a supervisor, and now to own your own fuel station. How does it feel? Your family must be very proud.
I really hope so. Yeah, mine really, it's a story of perseverance and longevity in the industry. Coming in, really, I didn't think of myself owning a service station one day, because for me at the time, it was just looking for employment to actually support my family. But I quickly developed a strong desire and interest in terms of what the management was doing on site. And I was quite lucky enough to actually be given an opportunity to grow through the ranks. And yes, I came in as a forecourt attendant, been given an opportunity to be a supervisor, both the forecourt and the shop. And later on, I became a site manager. And today I am one of the operators within one of the oil companies. So yeah, it's been a journey.
And did you have to go through a series of training, of courses?
Before you get appointed, you have to undergo a certain training.
Absolutely. And Mark, from your side, I mean, as a youngster, I'm aware that your family is very much also involved in the fuel industry. And as a young boy, you obviously grew up on a forecourt to understand, to pour petrol, deal with customers on a day-to-day basis. So what made you decide to stay in the fuel industry and create this company that Nedbank's very proud to have partnered with, PetroCONNECT, with you and your partner?
Being brought up in retail, I think once you smell the petrol fumes, that's it. As I've been brought up, it's been, that forecourt attendant for your holidays. And, when you're 8, 9 years old, I could only do the windscreens. I couldn't fill the fuel, So for me, it's been a journey. I think fuel retail, the whole environment is just, it's so diverse. There's always something new every day. Fuel retail gives you challenges. It's a mix of your corporate, it's a mix of your business, it's a mix of everything. You continue wanting to just broaden your horizons within the industry, and also just keep reinventing the industry. And I think that's what really created PetroCONNECT, was coming up with solutions. We saw the challenges and we thought, well, how do we create solutions to them? Why aren't these solutions out there, and how do we then recreate the industry or recreate the program around it? We're very excited about where we're going with Nedbank as well.
So you obviously saw the gaps in the market. So the important thing is with the value that PetroCONNECT can add, both to the retailer as well as to the bank, from a risk perspective or just from an advisory perspective and your offerings, a petrol owner such as Godrich. So just tell me a little bit more then about PetroCONNECT, what the values and what value did it add to Godrich entering this fuel industry?
There's a bunch of critical processes that one has to go through, and what we've seen is that everything takes time, which we try to just fast track some of those processes so that someone doesn't have to wait so long to get into it. Also, I think the education around the industry has been a big gap over the years. So, the PetroCONNECT Academy Readiness Program was one of those fundamental programs that needed to be launched. And that's what, has been a kind of a pillar point to PetroCONNECT and how we've grown. And really giving that knowledge to someone who doesn't know anything about the industry, or someone who says, well, I think I want to own a service station. For us, it was, how do we educate better? How do we know that we're getting the right people into the industry? So how do we transition someone who wants to get in? How do we transition them actually into the industry? Because it's all good and well knowing about the industry. How am I going to get the finance? How am I going to be transitioned into actually owning the site and being able to do that takeover? And I think that the takeover process, Godrich knows, is not an easy one. And I think that's where PetroCONNECT then came in and said, well, how do we make that takeover a bit easier?
So Godrich, I mean, with Mark, exactly what he's saying, with you taking over that site, what were the challenges? It's very important that people out there need to understand what it means for you to actually take over a site and the challenges it took to you personally get onto that forecourt and start running that forecourt.
My plan has been take the long-term view while you are actually trying to put together the much needed funds. But I must say I'm very grateful to Nedbank to say at the point in which I thought I was ready, both in terms of my own contribution and also looking at the entire funding. Nedbank came in and just make things a lot more easier. And from this moment on, it kind of like I look back and I'm like, yeah, it was worth the wait. Because sometimes you just have to be prepared, not only financially, but psychologically as well. And I think for me, this time was the perfect time for me.
So going on to that, you're on the forecourt now. What backup do you get? What PetroCONNECT has come in, they've got great offerings. What is the mentorship? What is the training that you're currently getting now as a new owner running a forecourt? Because obviously there's labor issues, there's staff problems, there's customers on the forecourt complaining. Where does PetroCONNECT come in and help you? What systems do they actually have in place to be able to support you from even a risk perspective as well as from a day-to-day training perspective?
The fact is, owning any business, it comes with a certain responsibility. And when you find yourself in a situation whereby you have 30 plus employees reporting to you, and then you know that you need to become almost everything. You become HR, you become a psychologist, you become a social worker, you become all these things because they need solutions from you and you need to provide those solutions now, yes. And I, for one, it's just a question of making sure that I know I'm dealing with the people whom I have employed, but this goes beyond them because we know our economic climate. So each and every employee that you have in your business really support at least 4 or 5 people. So you gotta be conscious of that fact. So whoever you're dealing with, you need to be able to see beyond that and be ready. So you gotta make sure that you equip yourself with knowledge. You need to be willing to actually make sure that you undergo all the available trainings. What PetroCONNECT systems came to do and enable me to run the business efficiently is to make sure that each and every transaction is being accounted for. Not just the transaction, but myself as a business owner, I'm more accountable to everything that I do in the business. So I cannot just do as I please. And also enable me to have an overview of the day-to-day runnings of the business through a click of a button. Everything that gets in, it's accounted for. Everything that gets out, it is accounted for accordingly. So that kind of like eases the burden, knowing there is a system in place that will help you manage your business efficiently.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just seeing so much happening at the moment in the industry, but it just in the economy. You've got to close every gap. And that's what we've aimed to do, whether that be on the legal, whether that be on labor, whether that be on accounting. It's absolutely vital that every cent is accounted for. I know I get lambasted many times to say, well, can't you just leave that 2 rand alone, Mark? You know, it's not balancing. I'm saying 2 rand is 2 rand. It could be a lot more than 2 rand. Clearly, there's a missing link here. So I think it's absolutely vital that the systems are in place.
So it's not just about pumping petrol and diesel or washing the car windows. There's the convenience store, there's coffee, there's being served now, there's food being served, and I hear next we're going to have pharmacies.
I think you're seeing the whole industry is just evolving. I mean, you're seeing the introduction of gas, you're seeing the introduction of electric, you're seeing LNG, you're seeing different types of products coming about. And I think that then means that you need to keep evolving with it. So if you're seeing ATMs coming into forecourts more so, the QSR, quick service restaurant, that is a big part of what we do now, because they need that competitive offering, because things are just changing so quickly and you've got to be ahead of it. I mean, you're looking at a total, the industrial revolution is just creating all these changes. So it's great to just have a banking partner that's trying to think of those things as well with us.
So just lastly, Godrich, on my side, If I was an incoming retailer that wants to get involved into the fuel industry, the first couple of months you've been on site now, what are the learnings, what has been the hardship, the challenges that you've had to deal with?
People tend to ask for help a little bit late. You need to ask for help. Make sure that you are compliant. All company requires for you to be compliant when it comes to safety issues. You gotta make sure that you are compliant. If there are any workshops that need to be attended to, make sure that you avail yourself. If there's training that has to do with the staff, make sure that you send them to those training, because it kinda, in many ways, it helps you bring about, I'll say, a level of confidence in that everything will go smooth.
And Mark, on your side, tips? I mean, what tips can you give out there in terms of also people who are keen to get into this industry?
I think research and educating yourself is absolutely critical. I think what we've done within the PetroCONNECT Readiness Program is educating in that 2-week program on how to formulate a business plan, how to formulate a cash flow statement. The business plan and cash flow statement is the fundamental of your business. So whether you're going to get into fuel retail or not, it's critical to have that knowledge and have that skill. So I think upskilling yourself, and don't rely on only other people to do things for you.
Sir, I really want to thank you for coming in today. Mark, I think from Nedbank's perspective, we're proud partners to be part of PetroCONNECT. We do see the value that can be offered to future retail operators. Godrich, from my side, I wish you all the best. And yes, Nedbank does look forward to doing your second, your third site. So well done, and good luck going forward.
Thank you.